Good morning, YouTubes. Today I want to build a companion piece to the meat hook. It's looking pretty good. I've had it sitting outside on a bench for I don't know, about 3-4 weeks in the rain. The handles are all nice and grayed up. I'm pretty happy with it, but I want to build a hatchet to go with it. Any true madman should have one of each, double fisting. So went on Amazon. I found this hammer handle, 10 bucks. It was like a $9.99 special. It is American hickory, made in Mexico. Son of a bitch. We can't even make our own damn axe handles here out of our own native trees. Okay, we're gonna age this thing. It's actually a hardwood handle, so it's pretty heavy. Like I said, it was a $10 Amazon special. I'll drop a link in the bottom, so if you guys want this exact handle, if you want to tackle this project yourselves, you can. They gave us the wedges, the steel wedges, and the wooden wedge, so that's kind of cool. It's a trooper handle, made in Mexico. Sad. So I want to first start on this handle. I'm probably going to run a grinder over it because it's way too pretty out of the box. And again, this channel ain't about pretty. So I'm going to run my little mini grinder over it. I'll probably run some 80 grit sandpaper over it just to take that nice shine off this thing. And you could use whatever you want. You could use an angle grinder. You could sandblast it. Hell, we may do all. I don't know. But it's already taken that kind of little sheen off, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to run this thing, run the grinder over it, and then I'll bring it back and I'm going to drill some lightning holes in it. Because this thing is pretty heavy and it's a prop. You don't be carrying around like a 10-pound axe with you. So we want to lighten this thing up a little bit and make it look cool. So when we come back, I'm going to sand this down. We're going to put some holes in this thing. Alright, I'm back. I got the handle all ground down. Got that polyurethane coating off this thing so it'll accept some damage and some holes. I got my holes marked out. I think I'm going to do 7/16 inch holes. I'm going to do them about 1 inch apart all the way down the length of this thing. I'm going to put one here in the handle. I think I'm going to put a brass ring in there. I got these guys off Amazon. You get like 10, 20 of them for $6 or $7. So I think I'll put that in the handle so I can hang this thing on the rafters or something later. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these out, and then when I get the holes drilled in, I'm going to take this big old countersink bit and I'm going to open the holes a little bit wider, take a little more meat out of this thing so it lightens up a little bit. After that, we'll come back. I'm going to file on this thing, beat it, and get it ready for some color. Only we're not going to use stain. I'm going to show you guys a blowtorch method that looks 10 times better than stain, and you can stain on top of it if you want, but it'll actually harden the wood and blacken it. It'll make it look cool, really cool effect. It'll give it that much older, crazier look that it's been sitting around in some maniac shed for years. So I'm gonna go drill these out and then we'll come back. Okay, got the handle all drilled out. Looks pretty good. It's nice and rough. Definitely on a diet, lost a lot of weight. Before I do anything else, now's the time to go ahead and distress it. I got files. I beat it against the edge of the drill press. I mean, now's the time to beat anything in it you want. Rough it up. You can use files, or you can use your grinder again. I got little needle files I like using. Poke little holes in them because it helps hold the color when you stain it or burn it. I want it to look like it's been handheld over the years and beat to hell, like some freaking crazy madman built it in a shed. Then I always like to take my knife, take little nicks and chips. I generally like to leave the handle part alone because that's where it's been held over the years and it's kind of hand worn and hand smooth. But everywhere else should be fair game. Put some nicks in it. And be careful if you're using a knife this big. There we go. Some chips in there. You can beat it with a hammer. Hell, you can throw it to the floor a couple times, beat it against an iron anvil or an old piece of iron. But I'm pretty happy with that. Feels good in my hand. I got my little ring I'm going to stretch out and put in the handle after it's done. So I'm going to go beat the hell out of this thing for a little bit. And when we come back, I'm going to go ahead and turn the torch on this thing. And I want to run some 80 grit over it first. Once I'm done distressing it, 80 grit's pretty simple. It'll take the harsh edges off, especially if it's going to be in your hand. And the wood will burn away some of this little smaller stuff. but it'll get the color will get down in there where the little gaps are. So I'm gonna go beat the hell out of this. I'm gonna sand it with some 80 grit so it feels good in my hand and there's no little splinters or burrs or anything like that. And then we're gonna put the torch on this thing and we'll really put the color to it, and then you'll see what it looks like when we're done with that. Okay, so I got the handle all sanded down. I'm pretty happy with it. No little rough spots, no burrs. Feels good in my hand. I went ahead and beat the hell out of it. Don't be afraid to beat the hell out of this. This is American hardwood, even though it's made in frickin' Mexico, but it's our wood. Grown here in America. I got this thing beat up pretty damn well good. There's a couple of different ways you can finish it. Like I said, if you guys watched the meat hook video, you could actually do the gray formula. I'll put that below in the description if you guys want to look at this one. That's kind of a cool finish. You could actually leather wrap something if you guys wanted to. But for this project, I'd say, I want it to be more crazy looking and be more of a companion piece to the meat hook. But if you guys are watching the Cobwebs and Candlesticks Facebook page, this is a little vampire hunter kit we're doing on the side right there is a little project, and I'll probably do a vlog when we're all done with it, show you guys how it all turned out. But for this thing, I want to do the wood, I want to burn everything with the torch, so let me fire up the torch. We'll do this in real time and I will show you how freaking easy this is and how good it looks when you're done. Alright, get the torch. Go ahead and start with the top. Just want to blacken everything as much as we can. And again, this is a preference thing. You guys can go as crazy, as hard as you want. You can go light and go little. You could use stain, but if you do this method, you won't even need stain. When we're done, put a coat of oil on it. Coat of tongue oil, coat of WD-40, coat of PB Blaster. You could satin clear it if you wanted it. You want to really get down in them grooves in the front of under the axe head where most of the damage would be, like if you were chopping on something and you missed it. So get all this color in there. I'm going to burn the hell out of them holes. Alright, but I want to make this thing just about black. It's taking a little longer because it's a hardwood. If this were like a 2x4 or a pine or a Douglas fir wood piece, it'd probably be black already. So I'm going to go ahead and finish burning this thing. I'm going to come back when this thing is all black and I'm happy with it, and then I'll show you guys how to blacken it and sand it back and leave the finish on it that I want to use for this thing. Alrighty, we got Mr. Crispy here all done. He's been all blacked out with the torch. You can see all the way through the holes. All we're going to use is I got a dirty old scuff pad. You could use an old kitchen sponge, the pot scrubbing side. You could use SOS pad. You could use steel wool. But after it's cooled off, just take and sand it back. Rub most of the burnt off. The blackened parts. Ooh, that's a splinter. Oh, I missed one. Be careful of that part. Usually the blackening stage helps burn any little splinters away. And the more you sand, the lighter it'll get. Like I said, you can finish it any way you want. You can run more 80 grit back over it if you want. If you wanted to make it darker, you can burn it again. The finish is basically up to you and how much you want to put on it. Or how far you want to take it. Wad that up. So this way, you don't even need stain. Could you stain on top of this? Sure. But why bother? That's such a cool color right there. I don't think it needs anything else. Alright, that is our handle. Basically finished. You could add to it whatever you wanted. You could stain it if you want it, but this color is in there for good. So there's no chance, I don't think, for me to either bother staining this. I'm happy. I think this is finished product. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this little ring in the handle. I'll spread it apart with a pair of pliers, pop the ring in, and then we got to start on the head of this thing. Gotta have something to be chopping little college students up with. So let's come back. I'll put the ring in there, and then we'll get some foam for the head of this thing. Alright, so the handle's done. I got the ring installed on the bottom. I'm going to call that done for now. Now we got to go ahead and find an axe head. And I think we're going to use some 2-inch foam for that. And let's see, 2-inch foam. Oh, I got some. We're at the shop today. The 39 Chevy project I'm working on. There we go, 2-inch foam. Let's see. Ooh, there's a little sheet right there. Yep. There's my bitch right there. Come to daddy. Alright, so we're back with our foam. This is 2-inch foam. I'm going to use the top smooth part as the back of the, or the top of the hammer hand. I'm going to trace this out a little pattern. Then we'll cut it out with a hacksaw. Keep it simple. Let's see, something like that. Come back here. Let's see, we want to be to about this point where the handle is widest. And come up here. Maybe we'll put a little tail on the end of that thing. Something like that. Our handle will sit in here. I think that's good. I'll go ahead and get a hacksaw. I'll cut that out. And this foam will be our axe head. Then I'll start shaping it down with some 80 grit sandpaper. Okay, got the foam cut. That's just a rough cut. Pretty happy with that. Should be more than enough. I think I'm going to take the handle. I'm going to go probably just center it so I know where my holes are going to be, so I can drill some mounting holes. Something like that. We'll just smash the hammer handle in there a little bit, make an indent. Alright. So I know I got to take my drill, get some 1/2-inch drill bits, drill those out. And then I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this thing. And to do that, I'll probably use a grinder at first to take the big hunks out. And I'm just going to use brand new 80 grit. This stuff sands right through there. I mean, that's the top. I want this surface nice and rough because I'm going to cover it with body filler. Anytime you put anything on foam, I want to coat this axe head in fiberglass resin. And if I put it on fiberglass resin, put fiberglass resin on the foam, it'll eat it and shrink it up and distort it. So I got to cover the whole head with body filler first. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get a rough shape of this axe head, start sanding it down, get my holes drilled out so it fits on the head, shape it, and then I'll come back and I'll put some body filler on it. Okay, got the handle ring in basically ready to go. I got the axe head all shaved down, some 80 grit, a little bit of grinder action, drilled some holes in to slip over the head. I test fit it. Looks good. Ready to chop up some kids. So now I need to coat this whole thing. What I could do is I could take primer, go ahead and prime the whole thing, kind of hard coat it with some waterproof primer, and then go ahead and lay some house latex black on there, and then some silver, and do some washes, and some satin clear. But this thing may end up staying outside for the whole month of October here in Indiana. We get, you know, frost and snow and ice possibly before Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and skim coat this with body filler. It makes it nice and tight. If I were to put anything else on top of this, it would eat it. But the body filler will protect the whole axe head, hatchet head, and keep it from being eaten by primer or the fiberglass resin I'm going to put on top. So I went ahead and got some body filler ready to mix up. That's about 3 or 4 golf balls, 1 inch per golf ball. Mix body filler 1 to 100, and you could epoxy the head on if you wanted to, some E6000, but I don't want to wait. God, I hate waiting. And body filler dries in a couple of minutes, so it's fast. You want to make sure you get all the color even. And this will dry up in a couple of minutes, and then I can start sanding it and then shape the axe head, and then it'll be ready for fiberglass resin. So get all that on there. Get my little spreader. Use a wide spreader. Get all that color evened out. I got probably 4 or 5 minutes to mix this. It's kind of cold here in the paint booth where I'm working out of at the shop today. Alright, that's pretty good. So, I'm going to go ahead and Coat the axe head first. This is where I want my body filler at. Try and keep it as a little bit less messy as I can. Get that head all covered up. And this will sandwich between the styrofoam of the axe head and should basically glue it into place. Alright, so we got it all goobered up, as well as the axe handle. I meant to do that. Alright, we just slide it down on there. That looks good. Probably gonna wear gloves for this process because it's pretty nasty. Okay, and you see how that's pretty flimsy stuff there, so the body filler will actually change all that. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna coat this thing. Top, bottom, sides. And then I'll start sanding on it. And this thing will start taking some shape so we can put some fiberglass resin and really lock this thing down and make it waterproof. So I'm going to come back after this is all smoothed out and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, body filler is dry. Got everything kind of covered. Any little burn throughs I have, back to foam, I'm going to have to mix up a little more body filler and cover those too, because like I said, the fiberglass resin will eat the foam. I'm going to go ahead and start sanding this with 80 grit. Knock it all down. Fresh paper so it cuts fast. I'm going to shave this all down, get any little burn throughs fixed back up. And when I come back, we'll be ready to mix up some fiberglass resin to really cover this thing and kind of hard coat it so it can be out in the weather, it can be played with. If it gets dropped, it's not going to crack, and the foam underneath won't break. And the body filler really does give it kind of a lot of strength and keeps it from twisting, so this should be more than fine. It should be plenty to hold up for a month of Halloween. Alright, we've got the whole axe sanded down. The head's all covered in body filler, kind of shaped the way I like it. I want to darken up this head, so I want to put the fiberglass resin right on top of raw body filler. So I got a can of Rattle Can Rust-Oleum, it's a navy blue color. Just want to darken this up. Let this dry. This has to be a dark color, that's all. Alright. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back, mix up some fiberglass resin, we'll brush that on, and smooth out all these little scratches and stuff, and it'll also help lock down that head and strengthen it, and it'll waterproof it, because body filler absorbs water like crazy. So the fiberglass resin will stop that, it'll make the head nice and hard, it'll make it look like a believable axe, and it's lightweight. I did find some black. I coated the axe head in black. Quick shot. And I put the heat gun on it because I freaking hate waiting. And I've got some silver chrome paint I want to just dust on the edge of this axe head. Kind of make it look more believable, like it's been used over the years. All I want to do, just hit that head. That when we coat the resin, it'll darken over on the top of that. So what I have here is automotive fiberglass resin. This stuff is used for fixing Corvettes and anything fiberglass or rust repair. I like to coat most of my foam stuff with it. That's what makes it nice and hard, gives it that hard shell. I've got some poured out. I'm going to go ahead, and because it's kind of a ambery, kind of a yellowy amber color, I'm going to go ahead and throw some pigment in here. I've got some pewter gray I got off Amazon. I'm going to dump a little bit in there. It goes a long way. That way it'll give it sort of a metallic feel. Alright. Mix that in there before I put the hardener in. So you can still see that sort of yellowy amber color. I got to put some more in there. I'm not real happy with that. That's not too bad. I'll go a little more. This stuff's like, I think $10 for this whole jug on Amazon. You can put it in resins and anything else. So I figured I'd pigment the fiberglass. I usually just go ahead and pour automotive paint right in here and mix up if I want to do a color with something. Alright, now that's looking a whole lot better. That'll look nicer on that axe head. Alright, that's about That's about 2 ounces. So for hardening fiberglass, they want you to do 10 drops for every ounce. So I've got about 20 drops to put in there. Scientifically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Okay, we're good. So, a little more. It'll make this kick faster because I hate freaking waiting. And I'm going to get the heat gun on it anyway, so I'm going to mix this up. You can almost instantly feel the fiberglass start to thicken a little bit once the hardener goes in, and that's fine. Then you know you got enough hardener in there, and it's cooler in the shop, so I'm going to use a little more today. It won't hurt anything. Alright, got all that mica mixed up in there, all that powder. That's what we got. That's about the consistency of it. And this stuff will get hot when it starts to cure, so get the hammer out of the way, get the axe on top of the cardboard, and we're just going to brush it on. Coat the whole axe and then just let it drip off. Oops. And this will give it that nice rock hard shell. It'll waterproof it, so if it's going to be out in the yard for, I don't know, middle of August or middle of September to October for Halloween, somebody's going to use it for a costume, and you drop it, it won't crack. It's still lightweight, so you can carry it around. And this stuff can be sanded too, so let's just coat this whole head in there. And probably in about 15-20 minutes, this stuff should harden. Then I can go back and sand this if I want, throw some more colors on the axe, and we'll finish this thing up. So I'm going to brush this on real heavy. I can always do a second coat later too if I want to, if I want to sand it down and put some more on. But that's going to give it a nice hard shell. You can get it brushed out even on this side. And you can paint fiberglass on top of this, automotive paint, anything you want, so it's nice and strong. Alright, I'm going to go set that over the garbage can, let it drip dry, and then we come back, we'll take a look at it. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes later, 10 minutes with a heat gun, 10 Oreos, and this thing's about dry. I got a coat of oil on the handle. You can see some of the old battle scars stand up. I went back at it with my files and stuff like that. Did a lot of damage under the axe head where generally if you miss stuff you hit it there. But the fiberglass gel is dry. It's kind of a smooth surface. You can see sort of like tool marks in it, or there we go. Let's see. Kind of smooth, so I definitely want to scuff that up. I want to kind of resharpen this edge because the fiberglass makes it kind of soft. There we go. I want to kind of hit the whole axe all over the place. Just random scuffs and scrapes. And this is just 80 grit, brand new 80 grit. There we go. This way we get some wear and tear on this thing. Doesn't look new anymore. Get up in there. Some crisscross scratches. And like I said, I want to sharpen that blade a little bit. That fiberglass kind of softened it. I'll get up in there. Alright. Now it's got that sort of metal look. Alright. I want to dust a coat of black on this thing. And just hit the front edge with silver. I think we'll call it done. Not too bad for a $10 axe handle and a piece of door foam. Alright. Alright, let me grab some black. Cover up the hammer handle. Dust on some black. I don't want to completely black this thing out and darken it. Give that a couple minutes to sit. Alright, screw it. I hate waiting. The heat gun is my best friend. Alright. We just got to dust it on there so it should dry up pretty fast. And then I want to hit this front edge with the silver again. Cover up the hammer. Or the handle. So I'm probably going to get stuff on it. It's a little better. Alright. Shoot towards the camera. Good. Got us a nice little silver edge on there. Let that dry. They ain't looking too shabby, folks. Kind of liking the look of that. Got the silver edge back. Got our handles drilled out for holes. Got a ring in it to hang it up. Kind of looks like old black iron. Kind of rough. Oh, that front edge looks pretty new. Let's do this. Alright. That's already dry already, kinda. Let's go ahead and scuff this down so it's not real shiny and new. Just as you would use an axe, all your scratches would be this way. Probably put a little bit at the tip. Bam, just that much. All right. All right, folks. Let's call it done. There it is, Man Hatchet. I may repurpose this thing later and make it part of a werewolf slayer kit I might build. But that's a $10 handle from Amazon. It's a 2-inch piece of foam. We sanded down to make the head, coated it in fiberglass resin, threw some paint on it. I think it's pretty cool. That's what it looks like. Smooth on top. I'm loving the handle. We didn't stain it, we just burned it. And I got a coat of oil on it. And you could always polyurethane it later if you wanted, or I could have took the fiberglass resin and just coated the whole handle if it was going to be outside full time. But that's the hatchet, people. I hope you like it. If you follow us on the Facebook page, I'll put this up there at Cobwebs and Candlesticks. We got other projects going on. Got the Vampire Slayer kit up there. So we're making some weapons, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all next one. Thanks so much for watching.